Today, I want to talk about treatment plans, and note that the slides in this video are available for download in the description box below. Now, the way I see it, treatment plans are essentially the blueprints of therapy relationships and the game plan or glue that holds counseling together. Each theoretical model of psychotherapy has its own formula for constructing treatment plans, but the outcomes are usually the same, working towards goals that will result in new client behaviors and attitudes. It can be helpful to approach treatment plans as a three-part process consisting of a problem list, goals, and a plan for treatment. We start with a problem list of issues and symptoms to address in therapy. From this list, we construct 3 to 4 treatment goals that will chart a path for our progress in therapy. These goals are very important, and I'll dedicate a key section of this video to developing them. We often refer to treatment goals as SMART goals because they need to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and take place within a specific time frame. Now, it helps me to think of these goals as light sources, either floodlights or laser beams. A floodlight spreads its beam over a broad area, which is good when you want a lot of coverage for, say, a large room, whereas a laser beam is very specific and pinpoints its target area. In counseling, if a treatment goal is broad, like a floodlight, it will be more general and thus harder for the client to attain. Yet if it's laser focused, it is more specific and easier to obtain positive results over time. I'll demonstrate this with a role play that features Dave, the client, so please pause the video to review his background. Now, let's take a look at Dave's problem list, and we can see 4 areas of concern, starting with difficulty making presentations in class. In the following video, I work with Dave on one treatment goal that addresses this problem. I'll assess the desired decrease in negative symptoms and also potential positive outcomes moving forward. When I think of treatment plans, I think of treatment plans as kind of as blueprints for our work together in therapy. They're hopefully blueprints for success.
Okay.
With that in mind, then I would certainly kind of need your buy-in, meaning that this would need to be kind of a collaborative process rather than me kind of dictating what plans or goals that you would set. So this kind of really needs to be something that we could construct together. Okay, so when I mentioned that about treatment plans, what are some of the goals that you'd like to set for our time together in therapy?
Overall reduction of, just anxiety and being nervous about everything that I'm nervous about. I think I usually feel most nervous and anxious when I'm in my class just about to do a presentation, and so that's usually the presentations are like 20-25 minutes, and so I get a little anxious before class, but it gets really kicks into high gear when I'm actually doing the presentation itself.
Okay. No, we definitely talked about that, so I can certainly understand that would be really stressful for you.
Yeah.
So if you had to kind of put a number, on a scale of like 1 to 100, of your level of stress and anxiety during those periods, during that 20 to 25 minutes, with 1 being no anxiety whatsoever and 100 being the most anxiety you've ever felt, where would you put that at?
Probably around 80 to 90.
Wow, 80 to 90%. That's a lot of anxiety that you're carrying during that time.
Yeah.
So I can understand that even reducing that a little may be really helpful in just kind of making you kind of feel better, in general. So if we look at that 80 to 90%, and we thought about reducing it, where do you think you would like to be able to reduce that to?
I think 0 would be an ideal, kind of like having no anxiety.
Exactly. No, I could certainly hear you there. I know that would be great. I do think that we as human beings tend to carry around at least some stress. Yeah. So 0 may be an unrealistic goal if we look at it that way. So with that in mind, what might be something that we could reduce to that would be much more manageable to you? What do you believe?
Well, if zero's not realistic, maybe 20-30%, is that more realistic?
It may be, but what do you think? You would be carrying some stress, in that kind of a low to moderate level, but not the high level of stress that you're experiencing right now. What would that be like for you?
It'd be a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot better. Just overall, not being so anxious or nervous would be great.
Okay. Well, how would that impact your comfort level, do you think?
Gosh, if I was in the middle of a presentation, I wasn't, just constantly stressed, I wouldn't be tripping over my words, probably get better grades, be more comfortable with the material.
Using a scaling question from 1 to 100, I worked with Dave to construct a SMART goal that would be both meaningful and practical in his life, and one that he would buy into as well. Earlier, I talked about a 3-part treatment plan. So here is a plan for Dave that includes the problem list, treatment goals, and a plan for treatment. For the second section, I've highlighted just the plan that was discussed in the video, reducing stress from 80 to 90% to 20 to 30% during his classroom speeches. And note that there are additional goals he will work on as well. A plan for treatment is the third step of the treatment planning process, and this includes discussing with Dave key interventions in the course of counseling, such as breathing techniques, thought records, and journaling. The final item here is strengths, which in Dave's case includes motivation to succeed that will help him tackle academic and emotional challenges. In the following video clip, Dave's strengths are discussed along with an important question for him to consider. I'm thinking that you mentioned as one of your strengths is you have a real motivation to succeed, and I'm hoping that we could use that as well as part of some of the tools that you use to kind of achieve success in therapy. But I'm also thinking what might hold you back from achieving your these kind of goals in your speech class.
Probably just having to relive kind of that anxiety, or just if things get too difficult, I might get discouraged, but I think I'd be willing to power through it.
In the video clip we just saw, I asked Dave what might hold you back from achieving your goals. This question allows clients like Dave to seriously consider the obstacles that may come their way and gives therapists a chance to brainstorm solutions as needed. In the end, it's important to construct treatment plans that are both meaningful and practical. When we fine-tune this process with SMART goals that are laser-focused, we're better able to ensure successful outcomes in therapy. Hopefully, this will prove beneficial as you develop your own treatment plans to help clients achieve emotional healing in their lives. I hope this has been helpful, and don't forget that the slides in this video are available for download in the description box below.